Okay, greetings everyone. Welcome to Gerard Black in the Philippines with the truth. I want to welcome you to my channel, all my subscribers, all my hey, let's me check this dude out, all my scallywags, peaches, triggers, lovers, haters, commenters, and each and every one of you. I welcome you to my channel. Before I get started, I was scrolling and I saw a blogger and he wrote this thing called uh, he is leaving the Philippines. Here is the reason why. And he spelled here, instead of H-E-R-E, he spelled it H-E-A-R. Now, am I going to jump on him and attack his grammar or anything like that? No, because I understand it. There was one blogger who attacked me because I couldn't pronounce the word Pharaoh, right? In fact, he said to me, he said, you need to, he said, even my mama, my grandma, my mother can read Pharaoh. He said, why don't you read go back to reading a Dick and Jane book? I told him, no, I'd rather read your mama jokes. I forgot who he was. I didn't put on one of the comments because it didn't come up when I was doing calling all comments. But anyway, what I want to tell you is that yesterday I was upstairs and I heard Mia. I heard this sound coming from Mia, and normally, the world just goes round and round. With me, whatever it sounds, I hear, I pay no attention to because I'm sure it'll work itself out. But this was one time I got up and I went downstairs and she said she was all nervous like this, shaking like this. Because Mia gets very hyper. That's one of the concerns I have about with a child because her emotional stability can really become unraveled at the slightest thing. So I make sure that I try not to upset her, me personally. So for something else to upset her, wherever. So anyway, so she said, Ask Gene," and so you know. So of course Gene doesn't speak any English at all, you know. And so I went downstairs and I grabbed Jean by the hand, not grab her, I held her by the wrist and walked upstairs. She came upstairs. I told her to sit down, and you know, um, and I called Raphael because I wanted Raphael to translate, because me is too upset to translate. I said that she's leaving. She wants to leave today, and I said, "What?" So yeah, she wants to go home. She wants to go home, and today, and because yesterday was a salary day, so she said she wants to go home and she's not coming back. And I said, "Ho ho ho!" Ho." I said, "Jane, you can't do that. You can't do that. You have to give us at least 3 days notice or something like that. You just can't just up and leave." And so she said, "Why is she going?" She said, "Because her father's sick." Now we knew her father was sick. She told us her father was been sick a long time. But there are a couple of speculations of what it could be. So we end up talking to Gene and telling Gene and said, Gene, look, we need time to get another housekeeper. You just can't stop and leave and walk out like that. I said, I don't care what kind of job you are, and you always give a notice. All the other housekeepers we have gave us a notice, a date when they were going to end like this. So Gene has decided to stay, I think, to the 22nd, which is like gave us not 3 days, but 4 days or something like that, to get a housekeeper or whatever. And so we agreed upon that. She was tears in her eyes that, that she, Jean, and I just got through speaking to her, I said, Jean, you like it here? Yeah, yeah. I said, oh, Jean, she really likes working here. She really loves us. And, I know, I don't give her a hard time except keeping my ashtrays clean, like this. That's always been like a running gag with the Jean. If I leave the room, you should walk into the room and make sure everything's like this. But she really's gotten to know the family. The boys love her. Yeah, she loved the dogs. I mean, she had no problem cleaning up behind the dogs, which is a big factor. Even at times I help because I tell you, sometimes it could be like a landmine. You know what I'm saying? But now the puppies have grown. Where the puppies, it's amazing how dogs train themselves, and the puppies are now trained to go outside and what have you, like this, and to do what they do. But anyway, so we're very disappointed that we are losing Gene. And those of you who've seen Jean in my video, you know, if she's a little darling. I told her, I said, Jean, you're like my daughter, like this. I said, I want you to be my daughter, Jean, because she just fit right in just perfectly. But unfortunately, we're going to be losing her, so we're going to go through the ordeal again to finding someone else. Okay, now what I'm going to talk to you about is that here in the Philippines, you meet people. Some you get along with, some you don't. You know, but this one guy who I know, you know, um, you know, his name is Bobby. I'm gonna say his name is Bobby. There are millions of Bobbies. You don't know which Bobby it is. And we have an activity that we do together and all this stuff like this. And one time we were hanging outside, sitting outside, and we were kind of talking. And uh, uh, he said, "Look, homeboy." And I said, of course, he's a white guy. I said, "Homeboy." I think he said homeboy, something like that. I said, I said, "Why the fuck you calling me homeboy?"
Jungle Bunny. Pack of wood.
You don't know who I am. To me that was very racist. Now, I didn't have the ammunition to fight back with something racist back to him. I think he's Italian or something like this or whatever like this. Besides, that's not my CeeLo. I don't do that. I don't say things that people have a hard time saying, forgetting I said it. So we got into discussion. I said, look, my man, I've never lived in the hood. Never lived in the hood. So to call me homeboy was, to me was a very racist statement. So anyway, to make a long story short, that tension has always kind of been there. And when we engage in our activity, every now and then, something might be said or overheard. I've learned to block whatever it is they're talking about. But just happened yesterday, we were engaging in this activity, and I asked him a question, and it kind of snowballed needlessly. Because let me tell you, it snowballed into something that I was right in asking the question, but he took offense to my asking the question, and so like, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? I know you want to be in the video. Okay, come here. Come here. This is Celestina. Look at the eyebrows. He has a weird eyebrow, like they made on mascara. Okay, all right. Have you made your screen debut? Okay, all right. Scram. so anyway, so it snowballed into someone has said, "Look, man, this is a non-argument." I said, "I agree. I agree. I don't know why he went down that rabbit hole." So anyway, what happened was that we ended up having a break. So I'm sitting there, he's sitting over there. There's only like three of us sitting down, and I consciously said to myself, I'm going to try to reach out to this cat because I don't know how to carry grudges, and for some reason, we are still at this level of tit for tat or animosity between us or whatever. I'm gonna try to move forward on that. Why? Because I'm a bigger man than this. I'm a bigger man. What have you? And so, I started the conversation by saying, "Hey, man, how's your family?" Which is always a good conversation, when you want to talk to somebody, get to know somebody, ask them how their family is. Back home, or do you go back to the States, or, hey, like this, and he goes back quite often like this. So the conversation was very, very civil. And then come to find out, we had another foreigner friend. His name's Ed. He passed away, and all this stuff like this. I used to love Ed because Ed always would sit at Why Not, like he always likes sit in this one area where he's very tall, so he kind of looked over everything, and he became like the sentinel. He was like this, every time you walked in, you see Ed. So one of those things. So he passed away. So I happened to ask about his vehicle and all this stuff, and then Bobby proceeded to tell me that, yeah, man, I had to pay for everything. He said, he didn't have any resources like this. There was no one coming to the, rescue from the states, something like this, to help him, you know, uh, help him with the burial or what have you, and how he paid, like 100,000 or something like this to, or close to it, I don't know the exact amount, and I began to have a new admiration for this brother. You know, I start thinking that, wow, man, that was real good of you, man. That was real cool of you, man, to step up, hey, and help another foreigner, hey, transformation, as, as, as I guess the best it can be, to say the least, because he happened to have a vehicle, and I happened to ask about the vehicle, and he explained to me that he had to sell it, because in order to get some of his money back or all his money back, he knew he couldn't leave it with his partner, his living partner, for many years or what have you. He used to go for 6 months, come back for 6 months, and etc. But Bobby said, yeah, and I made sure I gave her money, so this way she would have some. Now that's how you do it, man. That's how you do it. You have to know that a woman who takes care of a foreigner, is a lot better than leaving her with nothing. Without any resources or it's, So anyway, the point of the matter is that I look at this brother different now. You know, I see him. I see him as someone who was a lot more compassionate than what I thought at first. And sometimes that's what we have to do because, and sometimes it takes someone to make that move. Hey, to heal that wound. Hey, to move past that. And I've always been known as the peacemaker. I just want to let him know. Well, I don't know if he's ever going to see this video or whatever. I said, Bobby, you know what, man? Man, I love you, man. That was a beautiful thing you did. Beautiful thing you did. Don't. I guess the moral of the story is, don't be so quick to push someone under the bus, until you actually got a chance, to both be riding behind the driver, So one of those things, But anyway, how much time do I have? Okay, I got about another minute. Okay, real quick, I have another story. When I was moving, Ooh-wee. When I was moving, I needed transportation to move from back home to Avalon. So trying to find a vehicle, was kind of, it was on my list of things. And a friend of mine said, well, he has a van. He says you can use it, Gerard. He said, it just needs a fuse. Be careful of those vehicles that say that they only need a fuse or just needs a battery. So, be it as it may, so when I was driving the vehicle, to Avalon, it died. So, that's one thing I'm glad that God always blessed me that whenever I broke down, it's like right across the street from where it can get repaired. So I took it right across the street, and they did what they did, and I drove it, and then it died again. So I brought it back, and then they went through a list of things that had to be done to the vehicle, to get it really road worthy. Because my concern is that with all my worldly possessions, to be driving and having to break down somewhere along the way. So I told him to fix it. So to make a long story short, the bill came out to a little over 17,000 pesos to get this vehicle up to my satisfaction where I felt comfortable enough to drive it. And so I was telling the owner, look, this is the bill, what it cost to fix the vehicle, because he had said that he would pay me back for it like that. And so anyway, you know, um, I ended up not having any confidence in the vehicle at all. So I said, look, man, I'm going another route. I rent a professional mover because I just can't take the chance because it broke down again after I repaired it. So anyway, to make a long story short, you know, now his family's using the vehicle. Not only that, he sold the vehicle to a family member like this for X amount of thousand pesos. So I'm like, say, yo, man, you ended me about 17,000 to get this thing fixed, and it's like, you know, I'm like, what you mean?
Beautiful.
Right? But it's one of those things, man, that you just have to live and learn and say, okay, sit down because I know he's never going to pay me. If you can't acknowledge you owing me something, then how can I expect you to pay it? So I have receipts and all that stuff. What am I going to do? Steal his pig. But so just be careful, man. I guess the point. There are a lot of times that when you really think that you're trying to help somebody out or you're helping somebody out and under auspices that they're going to pay you back. Sometimes they don't. They don't. But anyway, this is Gerard Black in the Philippines with the truth. Remember, dream. And I see that vehicle. I see it parked on the road, doing business and all that stuff. And every time I pass it, I say, like that. Dreams are nothing more than plans awaiting action. Never disrespect elder pull someone up. And sometimes you're the only one to see it. And the best revenge in life is to live good. I'm living good today. I'm living good today. I hope you are too. And if you're lucky enough to have a good woman like Ali Woodson, former lead singer of the Temptation One song, treat her like a lady. And ladies, if you're lucky enough to have a good man like me, make him feel like a king. And never say no. And remember, I will always love you more. Hey man, the Philippines. Hey, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. Peace.